Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television. We are live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Anthony Momodu. President Bola Tinubu has reiterated his administration's resolve to pursue a comprehensive economic security framework for the country while addressing the foundational challenges and creating a fair and equitable system in which all Nigerians can thrive. The president stated this while hosting leaders of Afenifere, the Apex Yoruba Social-Cultural Group, at the State House in Abuja. Kikelomo Okere has the rest of the story.
Speaking when he received leaders of Afenifere leaders, the president says his administration is re-engineering Nigerian finances and seeking to boost the purchase power of citizens and spread prosperity down the line by instituting a credit system where the element of cash is not an impediment to a significantly enhanced standard of living for all citizens, adding that Nigeria must secure itself economically first before it can achieve any of its more sophisticated objectives.
We have the solid mirror that has attracted a lot of insecurity, scavenging, and others. Then we have special forces that is facing that now. We will have an effective forest guards that will be, fully in control of our forests in the country.
Speaking on the security, the president declared that those who threaten the sovereignty of Nigeria will pay a heavy price.
From hosting flags on the Nigerian properties and sovereignty, we have degraded terrorism to a level that they could not threaten the sovereignty of this country any longer.
Earlier in his remark, His Royal Majesty Oba Olufalaye commended the president for his courageous decision and for the rehabilitation of the Third Mainland Bridge in Lagos, as well as other critical ongoing projects. He urged the president not to relent in ensuring fairness and equity for all Nigerians, while noting the importance of a constitutional amendment to devolve more powers to states. President Tinubu, however, thanked the esteemed delegation for their prayers and support, assuring them that he will not relent in his resolve to advance Nigeria. Kikelomo Okere, Global Television News.
The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef Fagbemi SAN, has called on the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, to follow the path of decency and submit himself for probe. Bello is being wanted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission over alleged corrupt practices while in office as governor of Kogi State. According to the AGF, in a statement he personally signed stating that EFCC is empowered by law to invite any Nigerian for interrogation. He also described the action of the incumbent governor of Kogi State, Ahmed Ododo, who used his immunity to prevent Bello's arrest as disquieting, adding that embarking on a temporizing self-help and escapism that can only put Nigeria in bad light before the rest of the world is not the way to go. The Commission of Police FCT, CP Bennett Igwe, has expressed heartfelt gratitude on behalf of the management and personnel of the FCT Police Command for the kind gesture of the FCT Minister, Nelson Wike, for fulfilling his promise to the command. The minister had directed the FCT Command to hunt down and arrest or neutralize 2 wanted bandits and kidnapping kingpins who had been terrorizing Abuja, particularly the Buhari, Dutse, Alhaji, and Kuba axis. He backed the decisive action directive by placing a bounty of 20 million naira on 2 notorious and most wanted kidnappers on February 14, 2024, and has matched his words with action following the arrest of the 2 wanted kidnappers. Bayelsa State are yet to access immunization due to the terrain and riverine nature of the state. Media aide to Bayelsa Deputy Governor Dubara Atasi, in a statement, stated that UNICEF also donated 6 brand new water ambulances, both to boost immunization coverage and primary care delivery services in riverine communities of the state. Speaking during the donation ceremony in Yenagoa, the UNICEF country representatives in Nigeria, Kristen Munduate, applauded the state government for putting healthcare delivery services, especially in the primary healthcare sector, in front. She noted that the 6 water ambulances donated by UNICEF and its partners were meant to close up existing gaps in the health sector, as Bayelsa still had about 20,000 children yet to be reached for immunization. And moving into the education sector, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has directed all computer-based test center owners to arrest any parent who is found near any of their facilities during the 2024 UTME exercise. The body said all arrangements have been concluded for the conduct of the 2024 UTME, which will be held in over 700 CBT centers across the nation. The directive was issued at the final briefing of the computer-based test center owners, which was held virtually. The board said the directive became necessary following the intrusive disposition of some parents during the board's previous exercises. A former Speaker of the Kaduna State House of Assembly, Yusuf Zailani, has denied claims that the Ninth Assembly, under his leadership, approved the $350 million World Bank loan obtained by former Governor Nasir El-Rufai. The Kaduna State House of Assembly had set up a fact-finding committee to probe all finances, loans, and contract projects awarded, as well as other financial spending and abandoned projects initiated by the immediate past government between 2015 and 2023 under El-Rufai's administration. The Speaker of the Assembly, Yusuf Liman, inaugurated the 13-man committee during plenary. The constitution of the committee followed a motion moved by the member representing the Kaura constituency, Magu Yusuf, asking the House to investigate all loans obtained by the El-Rufai administration. Former Governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, has been weeks away from his Abuja residence by his successor, Governor Usman Ododo. According to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, this is coming after operatives of the anti-graft agency laid siege to the Wuse Zone 4 residence of the former Kogi governor for most of Wednesday. As the EFCC operatives surrounded the ex-governor's residence, his successor, Ododo, arrived amid cheers from the supporters of Bello, who had gathered to support their embattled principal. The Kogi State governor, after a while, left the premises of his predecessor, with the anti-graft agency confirming that he took Bello along with him. This development now puts in doubt the ex-governor's expected arraignment on a 19-count charge before Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court, Abuja. The Ogun State Community Social Orientation and Safety Corps, popularly known as So Safe Corps, has arrested 3 members of a gang of armed robbers said to be terrorizing residents of Iroko Arije in Odo Ota local government area of the state. This was contained in a statement issued by the Office of the State Commander of the Corps, Soji Gonzalo, through the Office of the Director of Information and Public Relations of the Corps, Assistant Commandant Moruf Yusuf. The suspects were said to have been arrested on April 16, 2024, after the operatives of the So Safe officers from Iroko Arije Divisional Headquarters responded to the distress call from the community. Troops of the Nigerian Army deployed in the northeast have rescued one of the kidnapped students from the Chibok Secondary School, Lydia Simon. A statement from the Department of Army Public Relations said Lydia, who was on serial number 68, was rescued along with her 3 children by troops conducting Operation Desert Sanity 3. So far, out of the 271 students that were kidnapped by Boko Haram insurgents, 57 girls escaped shortly in 2014. 103 were released through the intervention of the federal government. 20 others were freed by the effort of the state government, while 92 students are still in captivity. A federal high court in Abuja has dismissed an application by the former governor of Anambra State, Willie Obiano, challenging the powers of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to prosecute him. Obiano, who was arraigned on January 24th, is standing trial on 9 charges bordering on alleged 4 billion naira theft. But in a preliminary objection filed by the defendant through his lawyer, Onyechi Ikpeazu SAN, he said the EFCC lacked the power to prosecute him. He also urged the court to quash the instant charges against him, describing them as an abuse of court process. You're watching News Cycle coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We are on StarTimes Channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Cycle returns, federal government deploys technology to detect sudden power drop. These and other stories coming right after this break. Do stay with us. Welcome back from the break. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of News Cycle. Thank you for staying with us. On the foreign scene, Ukraine's Prime Minister has told the BBC there will be a third world war if Ukraine loses its conflict with Russia, as he urged the U.S. Congress to pass a long-stalled foreign aid bill. Denise Sheha expressed careful optimism that the U.S. lawmakers would pass the hotly contested measure, which has $61 billion earmarked for Kiev. The House of Representatives is set to vote on the package this Saturday. The proposal includes funding for Israel as well as the Indo-Pacific. Russia says any fresh American aid for Ukraine will not make a difference on the battlefield. Our situation on the front line is looking unfavorable to Kiev. 2 German-Russian men were arrested in Bavaria on suspicion of spying for Russia and planning blast and arson attacks to undermine Berlin's military support for Ukraine. The pair, identified only as Dieter and Alexander J., were arrested in the city of Bayreuth in southeastern Germany. The main accused, Dieter S., is alleged to have scouted potential targets for attacks, including facilities of the U.S. Armed Forces stationed in Germany. They are suspected of having been active for the Foreign Intelligence Service in what prosecutors described as a particularly serious case of espionage. According to the prosecutors, Dieter S. had been exchanging information with a person linked to Russian intelligence services since October 2023, discussing possible sabotage acts. In business, in a bid to address the recurrent collapse of Nigeria's power grid, the federal government has deployed a new technology to detect and respond to sudden drops or dips in power generation across the country. Nigeria witnessed its sixth power grid collapse of 2024, the preceding year, as electricity generation on the system collapsed from 2,583.77 megawatts at 2 a.m. on Monday to 64.7 megawatts around 3 a.m. before the grid was restored later in the day. Though the Transmission Company of Nigeria attributed the cause of Monday's grid collapse to a fire incident, it had consistently blamed the gas shortage for power generation and the vandalism of power infrastructure for the recurrent cases of grid collapse in Nigeria. The Central Bank of Nigeria has clarified reasons for the significant decline in the nation's foreign exchange reserves, asserting that it wasn't primarily aimed at defending the naira, as commonly believed, but rather to partially repay debt owed to creditors. The bank further expressed its desire to minimize its involvement in the market, aiming to foster a scenario where prices are determined through the interactions of willing buyers and sellers. The CBN Governor Olayemi Kadoso gave the explanation during the ongoing International Monetary Fund and World Bank spring meetings holding in Washington, D.C., United States. In the world of sports, Mikel Arteta has urged Arsenal to use the pain of the Champions League quarter-final exit against Bayern Munich to fuel their Premier League title bid. Arteta, aside, failed to clinch a first semi-final appearance since 2009 as Joshua Kimmich's second-half header gave Bayern a 1-0 second-leg win and a 3-2 aggregate success. It was a bitter evening in Munich for Arteta and his players who had dreamed of leading Arsenal to their maiden Champions League crown. Title holders Manchester City are out of the UEFA Champions League following a 4-3 penalty shootout defeat to Real Madrid in their quarter-final second leg at the Etihad Stadium. Madrid beat Man City 4-3 on penalties to progress to their 33rd Champions League semi-final. Man City outplayed Real Madrid once more, but this time they lacked the cutting edge and the arrogance, and their Champions League reign came to an agonizing end on penalties. Bernardo Silva, Mateo Kovacic were the culprit as they were thwarted by Madrid goalkeeper Andre Lunin in the shootout after a 1-1 draw following 90 minutes and extra time. That's it on News Cycle, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using our Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Anthony Momodu saying thank you for watching and see you again.